Welcome again. This is your boy Aide, SKOLAR, and this is the SKOLAR Report for, guess what, Labor Day weekend edition, we'll say. And it was an eventful and interesting Labor Day weekend. Now, we were told that the shootings, there were about 48 shootings this past weekend, Labor Day in New York City. 48. That's a lot of people getting shot. Not all of them leading to fatalities, but I believe 24 people were actually killed this past weekend from gun violence. This has sparked a lot of conversation from the mayor, governor, and folks up in Washington about whether or not we need to strengthen some of the gun laws in other states. Now, that's a whole nother debate altogether, but it's something worth discussing, so please talk among yourselves. We also had Councilman Jermaine Williams and one of Al Sharpton's former aides were arrested this past weekend for, I guess, trying to get back in a parade that they were already part of. They approached they were part of the Labor Day parade. They walked away. I guess they had an event that they had to attend. And when they tried to come back, the officer said that it was a restricted area. They showed their government official passes and they were not allowed in. In fact, they were surrounded by 15 to 20 cops, arrested. I think the aide was actually tripped. And then, released a little later, I guess to try to see if they could kind of make up for it or ignore it or try to get, sweep it under the rug. The police commissioner, I never remember his name, Kevin Kelly, I believe it is, or something. I don't really follow the guy. I don't care much about cops. But he apologized, and I think Councilman Williams basically was just like, yeah, sure, but you guys need to do something about this. So I think now there's going to be an investigation to follow up on that. So we'll see what happens in that situation. Then we also have Rock the Bells that went down this weekend. We had performances from I think Mos Def was on stage with Talib. They did some Black Star stuff. We also had Mobb Deep perform, and we had Lauryn Hill perform. From all three of them, there's some news. Mos Def is no longer going to be called Mos Def. Starting 2012, it will be referred to as Yasin, or it's spelled Y-A-S-I-I-N. So I don't know how he's going to say it. I haven't heard it yet. We also hear Mobb Deep is now officially signed to Sony Red, an independent deal, and they're going to be dropping an EP sometime in the next couple months. Probably titled Mobb Deep, from what Havoc was saying. And we also heard mixed reviews, not really mixed. People weren't very happy with what they got from Lauryn Hill. They were expecting to hear Miseducation, a classic album in its traditional sense, and they weren't happy. She remixed a lot of the records, and as a result, people were hearing renditions of the songs that they love, done double time and all types of house remixes. And they weren't very pleased. There was one quote saying, "Get me off this island," because they were listening to her, which was sad. But there was some saving grace, because I think Pras came up and tried to get her to do a couple of the records off the score, which was another awesome album. And, they did that, and apparently she performed those a little more in the traditional sense, so folks got a chance to hear Lauryn, at least in a way that they wanted to hear her. While we're on music talk, billboards, Wayne killed it, almost went platinum. I think he went over 950,000 in the first week. We haven't seen numbers like that in a real long time. I think he actually beat his own numbers from like Carter 3. The only other person who's been doing real big numbers like that is Gaga, and she did something like a little over 1,011,000 or something like that in her first week with one. I forgot which album it was, but the Carter 4 did crush the Watch the Throne first week sales for iTunes, significantly going over 300,000 downloads, while Watch the Throne went at about 290. So Wayne is doing well. He's doing well. Apparently also another good album to keep an eye on is Gabe's album, The Red Album, which is now topping the Billboard charts at the moment, I believe. And from everyone I've heard, it's a really good album. I plan on picking it up this week and giving it a listen, so probably on next week's you'll hear my thoughts on that. Billboards, SoundScan, Some indie love. There we go. Probe DMS is a good friend of mine, independent artist, really dope. He has an album called Life is a Movie. It's on iTunes. Check it out. I think it's really dope. It has, you know, some really dope cuts on there, and just the music and the production was really efficient and really tight. So I thought, you know, it's worth. I like dropping some new stuff out there for people who don't really know. This is the Scholar Report. I'm Aide SKOLAR. Keep the conversation going, y'all. Talk to you soon. Peace.